The earliest history of St. Peter's began, the best we understand, in the late 1870s, when groups of Episcopalians who lived in the area, primarily farmers and ranchers and old families, many of whom still have roots here, formed and began meeting at their homes and ranches. In 1883, Captain Joseph Tivey, donated lots on Main Street, which began the formation of the church as we know it.
Jesus founded his church on a rock. When he looked to Peter, one of his first disciples, he looked to Peter and said, "You are Peter, you are the rock, and it's on you that I will build my church." That statement was made by Jesus 2,000 years ago, and he repeats it to us. We are Peter, we are St. Peter's, and so we are the rock on which Jesus wants to build his church, and we're called to do that. We are the rock.
By 1928, the church had grown to a stage where the current structure was built. It was a small version of the current church. The materials, instead of the old wooden church, it was a stone rock structure donated by the Carr family from their ranch near town. That same rock has been used continuously in all of the additions going up to the present.
And that is a great reminder of our going back to Christ. We always go back to Christ, who is the spiritual rock of who we are, as he is the cornerstone. And so we always go back to that rock in Christ.
We have named our endowment the Rock of St. Peter's Endowment. And as we know the biblical significance of that. And Christ comments to Peter, "Upon you I'm building my church. You are the rock upon which I will build my church." And that is what we call our endowment, because it is the financial foundation, of this parish.
So the majority of our funding comes from the living, active members of our parish. And the majority of those funds would be generated by commitments that we all make to our church, and that helps us with our operations. In addition to that, what the endowment allows us to do is to go above and beyond.
Much of our endowment now is committed toward maintaining what we have, and that's needed. But I think that the new initiative has the opportunity for us to expand ministries and to be reaching out into the community and the world in mission.
Perhaps a good idea to give a very brief explanation of what the endowment is. Founded about 60 years ago here at St. Peter's, and it is comprised of funds or bequests that have been left to the church by parishioners who have passed on over the years. And when you add up the sums that have been bequeathed to the parish, almost $2.2 million now. The beauty of the endowment is that those funds are given to the endowment. There they remain and throw off yield or income, which then the parish can use.
And so the endowment allows us to move our mission forward for years to come. Imagine what the church is going to look like in 50 years. And imagine what kind of opportunities our children and our children's children will have. And we want to be able to afford them the same opportunity that we have today to say, yes, let's go for it.
So often in my vestry service at St. Peter's and in my vestry service at the church to which we belonged in Houston, vestry members spend their time trying to figure out how to get around the financial constraints that the parishes are under, because of a shortfall of funds. Your vestry, your leadership is constrained, you're shackled by these financial constraints. And how do you become unfettered from those sorts of concerns? Well, you break those shackles and free yourself from those concerns by financial stewardship and doing just what we're talking about. And that's, again, the beauty of the endowment, because it provides that sort of yield that can be used to obviate those financial problems and to break free of those shackles. To do what? To accomplish the mission of this parish, which is to make Christ known to others. That's what we should be spending our time on.
We've never had a truly organized endowment campaign. And with the growth and the size of the campus, we need those substantial maintenance endowments, and we need a planned, focused giving toward a new endowment fund. And that's, I think, an exciting part of what we're doing now. We have the opportunity to complete our campus, to expand on it, and to have a really intentional and conscientious endowment plan going forward.
Similar, I think, in the way that in a personal family we might provide for the future needs of a child or a grandchild. We want to help provide for the needs of our church family as well, because we do indeed feel that St. Peter's is our church family.
St. Peter's has always endured. We've been here since 1881, and we're staying. We're going to be here for a very long time. We, the people of St. Peter's, have been called from the beginning to accomplish this mission which we've been given by God, and the people have endured. The endowment allows us to endure through all the years, through the ups and the downs, always able to seize the opportunity of the day. This church was founded in 1881, and it started with a gift. Captain Tivy gave the land where we are still located. And so that was in the 1880s, and that mantle was passed on from Captain Tivy and on to heirs of his gift, and we're heirs of the gift that was given before us, and the mantle has now been passed to us. It's our turn to hold the mantle, and then we'll have a day when we pass it along to our children and our children's children.